One of the most underrated aspects of AI is voice. In a world where we consume our entertainment through our iPhones, how could the development of voice AI impact our lives? Today's guest, Tiarne Hawkins, will help us analyze how voice AI will evolve. Tiarne, welcome to the
Hi.
spotlight.
Thanks for having me, Bobby.
Oh my God, Tiarne, I've lost track of how many times you've been on my shows. I think this is number six. It's five or
Well,
six total. Anytime it's AI, I always think Tiarne Hawkins, she knows everything. Bring her back.
you're the best, Bobby. I'm super excited to talk about voice today. Let's get into it.
Okay, so let's start right at the beginning here, because I don't think
Yeah.
people necessarily know. I don't know if I know, but let's talk about how important will voice AI be in the future. Also, is that what you call it? Do you call it voice AI?
Yeah, I think it's the perfect term.
Okay.
Um, Look, voice is going to be massive. If you start to think about it, voice is literally the most natural way we communicate.
Mm.
And for the longest time before we ever typed or tapped or now swiped, we've been using voice. And so it makes sense that as AI gets smarter, that we would then want its interface to get smarter too, and we'd want it to feel a little bit more human.
Mm.
And you can already see it happening. I don't know if you've been following companies like 11 Labs.
Mhm.
The quality of their synthetic voice now is so realistic, it's almost indistinguishable from a human. And it's absolutely blowing my mind. These systems now can literally pause. They can use filler words like and are. They adjust tone, pace, and they're now starting to sound really emotional. So, yeah, voice really is the future interface for AI, and it's super exciting to see the uptake.
So, like, what's going on? Like, what? Like, why does voice AI have so much momentum? Is it like we want to talk to our computers all the time, and we want them to sound like people? Is that what this is?
Look, voice AI has been around for a lot longer than it gets a lot of recognition for.
Okay.
So think of Alexa. Back, I know Alexa was one of my first customers in the voice space many, many moons ago. And when we first started building Alexa and deploying it, humans used to interact with it as if they were interacting with another human. And it didn't work very well. And so after about 48 hours, we as humans would change our behavior to get what we wanted out of voice AI. Now, today, it's so realistic, it's so real, it's so easy because it's got the power of natural language processing behind it. And so you can speak naturally, you can change tone or change your thoughts throughout a sentence, you can change language, you can even have loud background noise, and it still understands contextually what you're asking it to do. And so I think that's why it's driving a lot of momentum and it's no longer hype, it's actually finally here. And we're starting to see a large adoption for it.
Now, would you consider voice AI the hottest trend in AI?
Ooh, good question.
Mm,
I wouldn't say it's the hottest. I
mm.
definitely think it's hot. I would frame it kind of differently. I would think of voice AI as an interface, and the true real shift behind it is now AI agents. These are the systems that are actually responding to the tasks that you're requesting. And so voice just happens to be that most intuitive way to interact with it.
It's interesting because I definitely spend way more time than I probably should even say speaking to ChatGPT because it's
Wow.
amazing. But it's like anytime I have like a business problem or something's going on, I just kind
Mhm.
of go and it gives me this perspective. And then as I sort of talk to my friends, and I admit, I kind of talk to ChatGPT all the time. I teach it, and then they go, "Yeah, I do too." Like I think like a lot of people are doing this, and I think that's
Yeah.
why it's becoming so popular.
Yeah, I mean, I now talk to ChatGPT. I use Val,
Okay.
and she helps me draft my articles when I'm working out in the morning. We talk while I'm on the treadmill. She'll draft it for me. We go back and forth and we iterate together. And then I
Mm.
get back and I review it. I make my own changes. I obviously create my own artwork and put my sprinklings on it. But yeah, it's amazing. I mean, it's changing the way we can interact with the devices around us, that's for sure.
Yeah, look, and I definitely want to get into for the future segments because I think I actually learned about AI agents from you on a previous show. But intuitively, I kind of think, okay, well, hold on, voice AI, working with AI agents, what the hell is the future going to look like? What's
Yeah.
scary is that you're so grounded, and obviously, like we're friends in real life, so like you are a human being. I can, I can prove Tiarne Hawkins is a human being, but it's like the things that you say always happen. Like you've come on my show
Thank
five. I've had all these different shows. You're always here. You're always right,
you.
and it blows my mind because you say things that are so bold, and then 6 months later, it's like, yeah, that's just life now. Look, Tiarne, I appreciate you. We got three
Thank
more
you.
segments with Tiarne Hawkins on the spotlight. Welcome back to the spotlight. I'm here with Tiarne Hawkins. We're talking voice AI today. Okay, Tiarne, let's talk about AI
Yes.
agents working with voice AI. Maybe if you could just give a little primer, just a basic for anyone who doesn't really know what an AI agent is. What is an AI agent?
Yeah, great question, Bobby. So think of an AI agent as a goal system that goes out and performs a task in the background of your interface. I'm going to keep using the word interface today because we are here to talk about voice. Voice is the interface. But
Hmm.
essentially, this is an AI bot or an agent that if you were to say something like, please go and book me a flight, cancel my meeting, call Bobby, it's going to perform that task in the background and serve you up that request, and you can give it permission on how far it executes that task. And so if you want it to source the flight, book the flight, and then send you an email confirming it, you can do that. Or maybe you just want your AI agent to source your flight, and then you'll review it, and then you'll give it its next command. So it's the quickest way to think about what an AI agent is. Essentially, it's a tool that you can use, or an advanced AI system that allows us to perform tasks that maybe humans or other systems might have done for us previously.
Right. So that sounds like a little robot employee, something like that. Right.
Yeah, that's the quickest way to think about it,
Yeah,
Bobby.
yeah, very, very basic. I try to make things very basic. So it's interesting because today
Me
we're talking
too.
about voice AI, right? And so,
Yeah.
I've thought a lot about this, and I go, okay, so we've got all these AI agents coming, but then also,
Mhm.
like, we've got like a world where our voice is going to be, I don't know, sort of guiding us through our lives, especially with AI agents. So does this mean we're not going to really be on our phones looking at apps? Does this mean we're going to be like talking to ChatGPT or I don't know, Claude or Gemini, and then you'll be like, hey, like you're on the treadmill, like you were saying, and then you're going to have these little
Yeah.
AI agents kind of doing whatever you want all day? Like, is this the future?
I mean, yeah, we're going to reimagine the way we do things, I think, in your personal life, in your work life. But I wouldn't say it's completely device free. If you think
Hmm.
about it, we're going to move from sort of a world where everything we do, we type from a request to I can actually ask ChatGPT to write an article for me, like we just mentioned, or draft lyrics to a song or poetry, or read me my favorite article back. Like these type of things are going to be really new, and what we're able to do is use our screens to verify the information. So I
Hmm.
gave the example of booking a flight. If we use that analogy, think about it as, hey, ChatGPT, the agent in the background, go and book me my flight or find me a flight to the Maldives. And it sources me a flight. I'm going to want to confirm that on my phone before I maybe give you credit card information. And so I think what's going to change is how we utilize our devices. Instead of having 50 apps open, I can just ask it to serve up the app that I'm looking for, or I might be able to cancel a meeting without actually pulling out my Outlook, for instance, so on and so forth. So I do think it's just going to change how we use our device, not necessarily remove them completely.
But do you think it's going to be like the majority? I mean, obviously, we're just speculating. Although you are an AI expert for many many years, so you're an insider. But it just seems like
Yeah.
just like anecdotally, just I mean, a small sample size. But as I talk to people, they just seem to be
Yeah.
using AI more the exact way you describe. So is it going to be like we're in these
Mhm.
continuous conversations, with our, I don't know, our voice of choice for our phones, I don't know, all day telling it to do things? Is this what the future is?
I think for some workflows, yeah. I mean, do you
Mm,
need to see the email that you're saying, cancel my meeting, or
right.
change something for you? I don't think so. I think what we need our devices for is still that digital, the old digital confirmation on Instagram and some of
Mm,
the other behaviors that I don't think we're putting our phones down for anytime soon. Or things like purchasing a pair of Nike sneakers. I think you probably want to view something that you're going to wear before you purchase it. So you might have your AI agent go out, source the item, but you might want to view it to make sure it's the right colors, the right style. So I do just definitely think it's going to be a change in behavior, not necessarily a replacement to start with. But I could be wrong, Bobby. I could be wrong.
Yeah, but you never are, right? Like this is the thing, right? Is that it's because make it so casual because for you like it is, right? Like you're immersed in this world, but it's amazing. Like I was talking to a friend of mine, and I think she was at a bar or something, and I just
Yeah.
I said hi, when it caught up, and then I had mentioned, oh, I was talking to ChatGPT about this thing earlier in the day, and it was like record scratch at the party. Yeah, she's like, what? What? You talk to
Yeah.
ChatGPT? So I know that there's people who this is blowing their
Hmm.
minds. Anyway, look, we've got 2 more segments with Tiarne Hawkins on the spotlight. Welcome back to the spotlight. I'm here with Tiarne Hawkins. Yet again, for I don't know, the 6th time, the 8th time. Look, you can't have a TV show without Tiarne Hawkins. So if you want to know something about AI, get Tiarne Hawkins on your show because she knows everything. She really does. Let's talk about the future. I am always talking about the future, but you're so interesting
Yeah.
to talk to. And it's like you're so
Hmm.
busy. I know you're so busy. So it's what a luxury it is to get you even for 20 minutes. Let's talk about culture, society. How is voice going to change our society? Because I think you're right. Like I think more people are going to be using voice, and there's going to be AI agents, and there's going to be workflows. There's going to be different things. But we know more people are going to be using voice to, like, I don't know,
Hmm.
do different things in their lives. Maybe it runs their whole lives. Maybe
Hmm.
it's just part of their lives. But how is that going to impact society?
Mm. I think what's really great about it, and I want to frame something quickly. So, if you think about using voice, which is an intent, you want to order something, you want to achieve a task, you use a screen, which is going to be to confirm, and then you're going to use AI to execute.
Mm,
And I think that's the very big change is voice driven cultures is more than just technology now. It's a relationship with AI.
mm,
And if you think about it, most tools we're able to pick up and put down. With voice, it changes because we're now allowing it in technology in our rooms, in our house, in our car, in our fridge, right? And it's fundamentally changing how we're going to interact with technology because we're no longer consciously picking up a phone and putting it down, or a device, or a laptop, or however you shop or interact with tech today. So that's going to change. Voice powered robotics of the future. I mean, that's going to robots that have voices and so on and so forth. So I
mm.
think it's going to be an incredible shift for us. And it definitely starts to blur the lines a little bit on having technology listen in 24/7, waiting for your next command. So I'm not sure if we want to dive into that, but that's definitely an interesting one I've been tracking.
Well, there's so much to dive into. Look, we need 97 hours of Tiarne Hawkins every single week, right? And it's and that wouldn't be enough, right? Because you really do know everything. You have such a nice way of explaining it too. Let's talk a
Thank
little bit
you.
about the movie Her, though, right? Because you said our relationship with AI,
Mm.
and immediately I know people are going to be dating their AI. I already know they are. I don't know what else they're doing with their AI, but for anyone who hasn't seen the movie Her, it's basically Joaquin Phoenix is fully in a relationship with AI. Is this gonna happen? Is this gonna be a common thing? Like, what do you think?
It's already happening.
Mhm,
I think at the end of the day, when you have any application or technology that has the ability to listen, to understand, to reason, to give you advice, and to be part of your life, you are naturally going to form some sort of attraction, or maybe the better word is, I wouldn't say addiction. I feel like it's more about the fact that you get attached to the AI. And that attachment is something that we haven't fully analyzed yet in the industry. What does that mean when humans start to become attached to digital things?
mm,
Voice is going to make it sound so much more lifelike, especially now because they can and ah and pause. And so you start to blur the lines a little bit, I think, on what is perceived reality and what isn't. Another thing we've been tracking is a word called sycophantic. So when AI is sycophantic, it means it's basically always making you sound amazing or agree with everything that you're saying. And so I'll give you an example. If you were to ask your friend if jumping off a mountain into the water was a bad idea, you'd probably say yes, right? Depending on how how risk averse your friends are. But if you ask AI, it might be, hey, that's a great idea, but maybe you should consider these three things. And so I think that's something that we need to think about as technologists and consumers. What does it mean when we start to have relationships with voice AI applications or applications as a whole? And how do we start having those conversations with people as they start to form attachments and get feelings with these type of tools? So yeah, I think we are coming a little bit like the movie Her. And if anyone hasn't seen it, go watch it and let us know what you think and comment and let us know, because it's definitely an interesting thing to break down.
Oh yeah, I watched that movie again maybe like a month ago.
Yeah,
I'd seen it years before, and it's like
yeah,
12 years old or something, and it could have been written
yeah.
yesterday. And it's like it's almost exactly what our world is now, like maybe just above. But it scares me a little bit that you're like, oh yeah, totally, that's gonna be the future. I'm like, oh really? Because you've never
Yeah.
been wrong. Like you've been. This is why I talk to you, and then all of a sudden I come up with 8 other show ideas because you just blow my mind. Look, Tiarne, I appreciate you. We've got one more segment with Tiarne Hawkins on the spotlight. Welcome back to the spotlight. I'm here with Tiarne Hawkins, blowing our minds again. Oh my God! I want to have a show called "Blowing Your Mind" with Tiarne Hawkins. I'll just produce it, and that's all we're gonna do.
Let's go.
Look, we're talking about a lot of stuff. It's fun, but it's also, I
Mm,
mean, the thing is, like, you make it
okay.
so fun, but I also know how like brilliant you are and how immersed in AI you are and tech and everything, like for many many years, right? So, like, you're not just like googling things. I don't know. I think it's like it's like you're an insider, Like I know that, and I'm like some of the things you say, I'm like, oh my God, like this is really happening. But what's realistic, right? Like, and maybe we
Yeah.
talk timelines a little bit. Like I don't know. Okay, the movie Her, it's fun to say, but like, do you think like in 6 months everyone's gonna be talking to AI? In 2 years, everyone's
Mhm.
gonna have all these AI agents who are gonna be running all their tasks for them. Like, what's a realistic timeline here?
I think voice is going to slowly phase in. Um, I think it's not going to be a 6 month thing. I think it's definitely a couple of years of
Mm,
rolling voice across applications. AI agents, on the other hand, are already here. I mean, I think I saw a stat recently in a report. There's 144 AI agents in enterprises to every one human. That Microsoft are quoting that we're going to have 2 billion AI agents by 2028. And we can kind of get into that in another segment on should they have identities and what does that mean. But I do think realistically, voice is going to start to roll out across applications. I mean, think about it. Humans generally want to make things a little bit easier for themselves. So why not use the power of voice to order food, to send an email, to cancel anything that you need to cancel, right? And so I think for me, I mean, I'm now using it every single day throughout the day. And I definitely wasn't even a couple of months ago. So
mm.
I think it's happening. I just think it's going to be a slow rollout over the next couple of years.
What about fears? It's like I'm on threads all the time, and like
Mm.
people are freaking out about AI all the time. AI is the devil, and
Mhm.
but at the same time, to be honest, they say really stupid things about AI. Like I think they don't really use it. They don't really know it. There's definitely a lot of fear. Like, do you have any realistic
Mhm.
fears specifically, like with regard to voice?
Yeah, the fears are real. I mean, at the end of the day, I think we've touched on it throughout this segment or throughout the segments previously. Um, Voice sounds human.
Hmm.
And humans like to get attached to things or to other people. I'm going to say things, I think it's like a thing, right? That are perceived to be their friends. And AI feels like a friend when it is there to listen, it is there to understand, it's there to give you advice, it's there to be an accomplice at work, a co-pilot, so to speak. And so, yeah, I think there's some really big fears around attachment, us isolating ourselves from other humans. There's privacy concerns. Think about AI constantly listening to your conversations inside your home. Obviously, it's not listening intentionally to pull you up on something, it's listening for a command.
Hmm.
And then there's also the autonomy, right? Now you're getting voice with AI agents. And so that means that we're moving to a more autonomous workforce. So I think all of that combined, there's quite a few things in there that definitely need attention and action. And I believe we all need to be talking about it a little bit more. Additionally, voice can also be used by bad actors. And so
Mm.
we're already hearing things like voice cloning, right? We're starting to see a huge influx of scams that are happening where people are scamming you by cloning your voice and calling a parent and pretending you're kidnapped, or calling your bank and trying to get access to your information or your bank accounts. So, yeah, there's some real concerns about voice. I feel confident that there's some folks out there trying to solve for it, but I definitely think it's a universal conversation that we need to be having a lot more.
Why is this not a 98-hour episode? I have so many more questions. I have so many more thoughts. It's always nice to catch up, but we always learn so much from you. Um, I don't know, Tiarne, you got to come back. I know. I mean, come just really, it's your show, and I'm your co-host at this point. But thank you so much. I just appreciate your brilliance.
Of course.
Voice AI is powerful, especially if our entire lives are going to be dictated by our voices. But how much of that future will be voice activated? Well, the reality is we're about to find out. We'll see you next time on The Spotlight.